9th of October 2022, and I'm finally finding the time and motivation to look back and summarize my weekend in Portugal, which was at the beginning of September.
Hello.
On Saturday morning at 3 a.m., I met my dear friend Pablo at his place before heading to the airport for our 7 a.m. flight. It wasn't until we were in the metro from the airport to the city that I was hit with that wonderful, euphoric realization that I was traveling and to a totally new place, a country I'd never been to before. We arrived at the hostel at 9 a.m., just in time for a free walking tour.
If you're lucky, you can see a cat in the ceilings, but there's no cats today.
After the tour, we strolled around a bit and stumbled across this breakdancing competition, which I really loved. The dancers seemed so cool and almost intimidating, but then so vulnerable and passionate when they were dancing. After that, we went to get some food, and Pablo tried to rush through a Sudoku because I was threatening to take back my pen.
That means 9 has to go here. That means 9 goes here. 9 is done. 1 Only 1 here. 1. Okay, we should have enough. 1 goes here. 1 are done.
We slowly got tipsy from sangria as we enjoyed our food along with the music that this nearby magician was playing. We went back to the hostel where we mingled a bit with some of the other travelers before coming to this fancy schmancy place for dinner. I actually didn't really like the food there, but it was very nice to be in such a cozy place. The next morning, we ended up having to run to catch our Flixbus to get to Aveiro, where we spent the day. I really, really enjoyed the bus ride. The view was of brown and orange trees almost the whole way, and it made me so excited for autumn because I'm so sick of the heat. In Aveiro, we strolled around and really enjoyed the architecture, which was so diverse and funky. Pablo was really into getting souvenirs from cute little shops, so we went to a lot of those, including this one, which was all about this fertility demon guy, or careto, which is related to an old tradition in certain parts of Portugal. After that, we went to admire the gondolas, and then found this cheap and empty place where we enjoyed food, sangria, and chats about superpowers and sci-fi films. At this point, we were getting tired, so we went to a park where we sat down to chill a bit and enjoy the fish and the birds.
Yeah, hi, Pablo.
Hi, Pablo.
There was also a lovely little turtle who unfortunately always waited until I stopped filming to keep climbing. After recovering a bit, we headed towards the salt pans, and we ended up taking a weird route which led us along the motorway, which I hated. But as if to make up for this unsightly and stressful path, we saw a heron along the way. We tiredly walked around the tranquil salt pans before chilling at a bar before heading back to the station. Finally, it was time to head back to Porto, and we enjoyed a lovely sunset along the way. When we got back, we spontaneously decided to go get drinks with some of the other travelers in the hostel. And I finally got that experience of making hostel friends, where you just spend a few hours together because you don't know anybody else, and people open up and share their deepest troubles, and everybody's giving heartfelt advice, and then you never see them again. It was fantastic. On the final day, we went to Livraria Lelo. It was a wet Monday morning, and even after reserving online, we had to queue in the rain for about 20 minutes. On top of that, it's also super packed inside, so overall I'd say it's a bit overrated. But at the same time, it was a very beautiful place, and I did really enjoy looking at the different versions of Harry Potter. Then we went on to marvel at the view from the Dom Louise Bridge before getting the cable cars down to go on the hunt for some port wine tasting. We managed to find a place and didn't want to waste the opportunity, so we ordered 7 different glasses of port wine to taste. Now, I thought we were going to share these 7 glasses, but in fact we had 7 glasses each. Naturally, I was quite wary, especially because I had a plane to catch just a few hours later. But the waiter assured me semi-confidently that I'd be okay. And I was okay. I was very okay. I was drunk. But like not too much. The perfect amount, I'd say.
Take us up.
What are we doing, Pablo?
We're walking in the rain.
Yay! Travel.
Travel.
We stayed there for a little while, and once it was time for me to go, we happily skipped through the rain back towards the hostel, where I bid Pablo goodbye and headed to the airport. So, to wrap up, this trip was short and sweet. Because of the 3 a.m. start to the trip, I was fairly exhausted the whole time, and Porto was very hilly, which didn't help. But that's the beauty of the passage of time. Of course, I can't feel the tiredness now that I think back on it, but I do feel and remember the happiness and excitement I felt at the time. What really struck me about Porto and Aveiro was the fact that there was art everywhere, between the tiles on the buildings and the pavements, the murals, random exhibitions, the dance contest. There was just always something beautiful to look at. It made me so happy to see people appreciate art and to use it to make a place more special, more human. Another thing I noticed was that the people were very friendly. Thanks to Pablo, we ended up chatting to quite a few vendors in the little shops, and they were all so sweet and helpful, even despite the language barrier. And there was also a lovely old Portuguese woman on the plane home who kept feeding me biscuits. Over the past few years, anytime I travel, I feel this desire to go on a solo trip because I've never done that. I really want to take my time to discover a city in my own style and rhythm. But at the same time, I always get so much out of traveling with friends. Like with Pablo, for example. He had already read up on Porto and knew lots about it, which is something I don't really do. And he also always followed up on anything that sparked his curiosity. We saw and learned so much simply because he was like, hey, I wonder what that is. Let's go find out. I really think that one of my biggest flaws is my lack of curiosity. And traveling with Pablo, just like traveling with Sally in Georgia and with Connor in Grenoble, gave me a reminder to try be more curious and strive to learn more about the places that I visit. I was in Portugal for about 2.5 days, which isn't long at all, but I still got to see a lot. And while it was hectic at the time, all that remains are the nice memories and the beautiful sights that I got to take in and save. So, that's all from me for now. Until the next one.
Hurry up, Pablo. We don't have time. Fish. Look at this floating rock.
Wow, how would this ever happen?
Wow.
Did you know that rocks normally can't fly?
But in Porto, Portugal, they can. There is a man from Earth.
No way.
Hashtag subscribe if you know what I'm talking about.